had a very interesting discussion now in your institution. We are here at the National University of Singapore in the Center for the Development of Teaching and Learning. And one element that we felt is very interesting in terms of the future direction was about the development of nano degree courses, or let's say shorter modules of learning courses, which seems to be quite of interest for the Ministry of Education. So what's your perception in that regard? What is happening here in Singapore? How is the future roadmap, let's say, for more flexible, more individualized, short-term courses?
Yes, in Singapore we have a nationwide Skills Future initiative. And what that means is that we are making efforts to ensure that there is continued education and development for the entire workforce. So one of the things that we, the universities, have got to do is to help to offer specific courses that would key into this initiative. So we have people who are in need of a more advanced degree or a higher level of knowledge in their jobs. So they're looking to institutions like NUS to offer specific courses that would help to educate the workforce. So this is how we are, and all the universities in Singapore are trying to contribute towards Skills Future in terms of offering very specific modules. We have already made some proposals of relevant modules that we have in our institution towards this particular initiative.
One other thing that struck me was in the end when you said, in my words, there is a momentum for education. We have the opportunity that senior officials, that ministry, top level, as well as maybe university leadership is actually listening to what is needed in terms of advancing in teaching and learning, that there is an agenda, that there is a priority. So from the Singapore perspective, how is this maybe shaped for the immediate future and maybe for the midterm? Is this your perception? You can really go on that with a strong impact?
Yes, I think we have to start from the fact that we are research-intensive universities. And as research-intensive universities, we already have academics who understand the idea of literature-informed research. So now, while the education-related type of research is fairly new to many faculty members, the idea that we need to have more scholarly approach towards teaching and learning through the research in the literature, that is a message that many academics do understand. At the national level, in recent years, we do hear the government and the Ministry of Education in particular wanting us to contribute towards very specific learning outcomes research that we as academics could come up with. So I think it's left to us as academics to define the domain in which we can contribute towards that scholarly approach. Internally, we always have a lot of support from management on working on such initiatives, because internally we do have many programs, and one of the things that senior management will always want to know is, how do I know the programs work? And you don't know until you study them and you gather data and you collate the evidence and make the arguments. So all this is coming together quite nicely, that whatever we have started internally as a conversation within the institution, as an academic institution, is being taken up also at the national level. And so there is now quite a synergy in the way we are all approaching teaching and learning, in particular, and education in general.
Okay, and then just last question. When you mentioned that you had little grants already in place now for the last years, could I call this a hands-on research on teaching innovation or learning?
Hands-on?
Like in the sense that there is not a huge, let's say, global or national research, but that this is an institutional-based I would call it hands-on research, in the sense that you have a little project where you do evaluation, where you use some kind of scholar research, and that this outcome is directly affecting your work, your colleagues' work, the institutional work.
Yes. At CDTL, we have always had something called the Teaching Enhancement Grants. It has been around for at least more than a decade. And when I say little grants, we mean anything from $5,000, $10,000 to $25,000 per project. And it usually involves a colleague just wanting to improve something in his or her classroom. So it's very local. The bigger projects could be a colleague wanting to do a longer term project, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, to build up certain outcomes. At the university level, we have slightly bigger grants, like the one that I've mentioned earlier about the something called the Learning Innovation Fund for Technology, where we support technology-enhanced education research. That is a grant that NUS President has made available to all colleagues in the university, and we call for application once a year for that. Again, that is quite local in the sense that you do have colleagues coming in to say, I have this class and I want to use this technological intervention. Can you give me some money to help me study this and develop this project? But it can also be bigger, because there are colleagues, for example, in computing, who want to build bigger platforms that would host more than one course on that platform and to track different types of learning outcomes on that one platform. So we do have projects that run in the 6 figures, say $200,000. So that's a slightly bigger grant.